All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into our first map of the series. Windigo versus Virtus.pro here on Nuke to kick us off in our first semi-final. And of course, going to be joined by Over as we bring you these three final best of threes of the lands coming up for you.
Indeed we are, and I mean, this is now Windigo versus VP. Nuke gonna be our first map, the map that VP chose, of course, that they very much enjoy playing. And their performance yesterday was something out of a movie, out of a coloring book. It was just beautiful. It was perfect. It really worked out very well for them. And I have to say, I'm excited to see how they deal against the Bulgarians. And here we go. It's going to be an A play coming up from Virtus.pro Windigo. They've got Bubble in heaven. Victor going to be joining him for the defense. The Molotov, though, who times it perfectly, forces them to pull back. Blocker still holding towards ramp. And Windigo, they've already lost poison. So that's a bit of a problem. But it's going to be a 4-on-5, and this should be a relatively easy round for VP to pick up, at least by the looks of it. A smoke into heaven as well. Not sure what's going on. Ships finally finds one. Ships finds two. Okay, Victor drops down, gets himself snatchy. Wait a second, Kieran. How is this possible? VP, you had a man advantage, and now it's back to a 4-on-1, and it's a 4-on-none. Windigo. They lose poison, but nobody else. And somehow they win the round easily.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to be able to close out that first round. Going to be putting the buy round in the hands of Windigo to come in this second. And that will see a CT force buy now going to happen. Virtus.pro not going to go for their eco either. Oh, sorry, not going to go for their force buy. The eco for them, going to be taken. I'm glad that, like you said, they've gone for that eco because it is Windigo that is VP that constantly force buy in the second round if they were to lose that pistol. But unfortunately, going to see that this time for Windigo. Should be an easier time for them to at least put 2-0 on the board. With the fact that Windigo up to now are working out that maybe it is going to be a B bomb site take out of the out of the T side. Poison, there's the first kill on the board for him, and damage to be done by Snatchy, at least able to return a frag in return. Bubble, as he'll close down Snacks, is into a 4 versus 3. Bubble sat toward ramp. It's Mihu. He's able to close out Blocker. Oh, they're trading back some very nice kills right here, and now that he has the AUG to work with, unfortunately doesn't have Kevlar, and luckily Victor able to close down 2. It's into that 1v3 for Snatchy. Even with Victor being pretty low, it does seem like VP have been able to at least deal damage, but it's going to be Windigo that take away a second round before Virtus.pro are able to put that buy on the board.
Indeed they are, of course, and coming at a bit of a high price, losing 2 players. Luckily they're able to keep 3 guys alive with the rifles to support it, so there's that. We're about to see VP fully buy though, and I'm excited to see what they bring into the round. Is it going to be, well, presumably only rifles really. They don't have much money for anything else. But I'd love to see some executions. Yeah, there's the 5 AKs we can see on the big screen right in front of us. And I would love to see some sort of an execution towards outside, perhaps trying to get their way through secret. They've had they've had a lot of success in the past. Poison, though, sprays down through the smoke, finds himself Viggy. That's going to be a perfect start for Windigo, though, with already 2 rounds on the board. That is not exactly a comfortable position to be in as VP.
Solid start out of Windigo to open up, especially with no damage to be inflicted to that CT side. 1 minute 20 approaching, just passing us right now, that we'll see Windigo looking again for further info, and with Victor already going to be pushing away toward ramp. It's Bubble again from this silo position that's able to hold down 2, making sure the fort is safe, but luckily Ocalish is able to return fire. Bomb looking to be planted. Door to be open, and there's the denial. The ships will fall it into a 3 versus 2, and that will see at least an easier time for VP on this retake. Smoke to go down, but it's Victor. As he swings out, Ocalicious not going to be expecting it. It's all down into the hands of Snacks. Will be able to remain safe and find a first. They do have a nade to force him out, but he's into a 1v1. Victor all on his own now, and with Snacks on no utility, they have to try and maybe force him out by the defuse. That's exactly what they're going to do, but as the time's ticking, Snacks, he's playing this so well, but I think there might just be enough time.
No, there is enough time for Windigo. Yeah, there is enough time. They'll be able to defuse. Not a problem at all. Windigo, they save themselves a bit of trouble, a bit of headache, and above all else, they're able to at least keep it. This spray by Poison, by the way, the timing there was perfect,
right.
as well as Bubble. Exactly, this hold by Bubble and Poison, or really a hold from Bubble and a play by Poison. It works out so well because it gives the advantage to Windigo without ever risking a single player. And all of a sudden, I mean, it's going to be 3-0. VP, they'll be rebuying. They've got themselves AKs and a few utilities. Well, a few is kind of an overextension, I guess, or an overestimate. It's just 2 flashbangs they had. They're going to go down secret, though. And 4 players already making their way down. Ooh, I love the minimap. We have yet to have seen Nuke on this tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm loving the new minimap. Okay, they split it out. I like it. Kind of fun. Pretty interesting to see. Oh, Collisions though, making way through control room. Bubbles holding from Titanic. Veggy's gonna find himself one. Bubble still holding though, finds the first, drops the bomb. That's a problem. VP. It's a 4-on-4 and they've got to control ramp in order to get the plant. Luckily, Bubble will be caught. Nobody to support him really. Another one for Snatchy as Poison will kind of try and refrag. Still left in a 1-on-3. This round should be ending pretty soon, as VP will finally find their first. Windigo, perhaps a bit too eager, perhaps a bit too passive in a way as well. In the end, they had control of B side for such a long time, and I'm not sure why they let Bubble die, why they didn't support him immediately from ramp. It's just kind of weird to see that.
Yeah, it was definitely a little stranded on that site hold, and that was really giving Virtus.pro the chance to get into the hold really straight away, and that is going to bring them the first round on the board. Virtus.pro finally to break the cycle. Windigo now going to be facing some economic hardship as well. They won't be able to put a buy into the next round. We should even see a force out of Windigo in this one as well, just for the fact that it would have to be a double eco anyway. So why not invest into some pistols of their own and put maybe a little bit of strain on Virtus.pro. But up to now, with that first on the board, now that they have broken CT side, would be able to at least put a second and a third on the board. Seems like we do have a little bit of a technical issue, though. Hopefully not going to be affecting too heavily for Windigo, but even so. With this being Windigo's map pick. Oh, sorry, with Virtus.pro's map pick. Yeah, sorry, yeah. I was going to say Windigo picking Nuke could be...
Yeah, that'd be the first for me.
Yeah, me too. Considering it is a map that they do play, but it's one that they only play if they kind of have to. But yeah, with VP picking the map, obviously on their T side, we know that with Nuke being more CT sided than it is T sided, then VP will be happy with 4, 5, 6 rounds potentially. Especially now that they get onto their CT side second half, they know they can be as strong as how they've played in the past, because we've seen a lot of games out of Virtus.pro previously on Nuke. I know they've had some online matches on the map where they have been able to shut down their opponents. They beat Movistar Riders most recently, 16-6, just a couple of days before they came to this LAN. But they've also had some defeats as well, with a 16-5 over Aristocracy on LAN as well, which is interesting considering Virtus.pro have been confident enough to pick it this time. But
and they also lost against Mousesports in the close qualifier.
I think that was another big defeat as well, right? 16-5, 6, something like that.
16-6, yeah. It's pretty kind of harsh when you think about it, that this is their map, that they want to play Nuke. You know, they're very good on it. We've seen in the past how well they can perform, but hopefully they're able to again shine brightly on LAN as they did yesterday. I think it's fair to say that, you know, big online, they defeated VP on LAN. They got destroyed, and that is an understatement. They got absolutely blown out of the water. It was a pretty clean sweep for VP as a whole, and I'm excited to see them play. I'm excited to see them perform like this, as it gives hope for this lineup yet. Hopefully, though, it's not going to be the same, because that would just make things boring if this best of 3 would turn out in an equal manner. In a way, though, Windigo, they'll force it up. They'll have the AW on Poison. We've got the Max 7 on Blocker, and the rest with pistols. Have to respect that this force buy can give you a victory, but on the other side, it does kind of give your opponent the tie if you do lose it. Veggie, though, will find poison, but Chips, okay. But with the Deagle holding his position, and we gotta say, Windigo are known for their Deagle shots and their Deagle plays. His Chips will shut down one more. It's Snatchy to fall. This is a problem. VP have to play it carefully. They can't allow themselves to be caught red-handed, and they've got A control anyway, though, so seems like they should be fine to stabilize afterwards.
Yeah, and I think they did realize that the majority of Windigo was stacked down towards B as Victor, the third man to fall, and that should be closing down the round for Virtus.pro. Losing a couple of men in the process, which is probably not as nice as they would like it to be. But even so, it gives them a little bit of money bonus. I'm pretty sure Ships just spotted one more as well. Edging his way out toward Carriage. There's Bubble with the Deagle. Nice shutdown. And again, some pretty good damage being done by Windigo, even on a force buy round of their own. Even if they can take Bubble into an AK for the next round, that'd be nice. But it looks like Oculicious is at least defending the rifle from being collected. And as that time does tick away, Ships to be saving his AWP, and that will see 3-2 on the board for Virtus.pro. However, with the fact that Windigo now have to go into their eco, it is a prime opportunity for VP to be tying the scoreline, ensuring that Windigo on the VP map pick aren't going to be running away with too many rounds early, and especially considering that VP are on their T side. Even just by putting 3 rounds on the board early, they're already going to be feeling pretty confident because we know they can take 10, 11 rounds on their CT side. So they're getting to that point where even this early in the game, they're going to be comfortable enough to be finishing this T side. Again, that camera angle of nightmares.
These cams are getting me every time. It gets me. But yeah, as you said, this eco round shouldn't be getting them very far. Ships should be focused on saving the op. That's about it. And the tie truly is coming through. That's the price they pay when they force up like that. Ships, though, nice peek into into main. Gets himself one. Snacks will still bring down Ships, though, unfortunately. And Vega, yeah, he spots Blocker just in time. And is able to deny any sort of, perhaps, kill or damage that would have been dealt otherwise. Ships also falling, which is a problem. The op has been lost, and that's kind of an issue. Victor, nice spray down, nice attempt. This tag onto Veggie. But can they retrieve the op is a better question, I think. If they are able to save the AWP and potentially bring it around afterwards and really just try and work with that for the next gun round, then we could see still an uprising for Windigo. Otherwise, their economy is still, is in a position of which they can't really afford a proper op buy. Although, I have a sneaky suspicion Bubble will come from those vents trying to steal it if at all possible. Oh, he's somehow alive. He has an AK and he doesn't try to save it. I'm kind of surprised there. I would have hoped to see Bubble try and run away with the AK he picked up. But yeah, okay. It happens, you know. It is as it is. Let's see. Poison. Glass cannon, if I saw correctly, I believe. Or no, actually, yeah, it is glass cannon. Yeah, it is glass cannon. That's a problem. I'm not ahead. I just saw the big screen. Don't worry, Kieran. I'm not running ahead. It's going to be a bit of a mixed buy. They don't really have much utility. No kit, which is a problem once more. A nice isolated problem, but surely becomes a problem once you go into an after plant. Oh, this line of poison. You almost could have gotten a kill. Still a 3v3 or 3-2-3 as VP. They're making their way down secret once more.
Chip's going to be the first man in the line of fire, but Veggie,
ouch,
able to close out an initial frag. That's not going to be too fruitful. Veggie, he's just going to keep on raining damage down.
Okay.
Virtus.pro, that's going to put them in a 5 versus 3 already, and as they take over toward that B bomb site, bomb already to be planted fairly soon, and we should just see a full save out of Windigo, but still, Snacks, he's hunting for blood. Finally, Victor to make an impact and return a frag, but it's not going to really overall make too much of an impact, and especially with Mihu now closing one more down. This is a beautiful round out of Virtus.pro. The bomb site control established very early, then they just go and disperse, hunt for the remaining players, and all that's left is Poison to try and save the AWP. That means Windigo will have basically nothing going into the next round. Once again, going to be back down to that eco, and is Snatchy to close out Poison. That's going to be a perfect round out of VP. 4-3, and CT economy now down into an eco again, so Virtus.pro, they'll be taking a couple of fruitful rounds coming forward, and yeah, there should be 5-3 on the board, and plenty almost for the T side in the early phase of the game.
This is as good as it gets for VP, given how well Windigo started off this map, and that this is the map pick of VP. You know, they're on the T side. We have to consider the fact that if they are able to pick 5-6 rounds on T Nuke, that's already an amazing feat in itself. And if they're able to kind of roll the momentum a little bit in their favor, that's just, you know, that's just going to give them so much energy for the next half, for the next part of this map, that Windigo, if they're unable to grab themselves by the balls, so to say, and really put an end to this great performance out of VP, they could be quick to lose the first map. But of course, we're about to find out how it all turns, how it all goes. This should be an eco. Yep, it is Windigo. They've got pistols and Kevlar. That's about it. Not even too many Kevlars to support it. Bubble finds one though. Poison. Oh, Poison! He gets himself a Kalicious. Gets himself a second as Bubble has got Snatchy. And what is going on? Veggie back to a 1-on-3 as he's dropped to 46 and VP. Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's where Windigo come into play. Their surprise assaults, their surprise plays, and Veggie almost catching both players. Bubble, no Kevlar, keep in mind. One bullet, he's gone. It is going to be a 1-on-2 though, and with a minute or so on the clock, there's more than enough time for Veggie to play this one off, and we've seen him in worse positions before, if we're honest, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him in positions where we'd never imagine him being able to win this, and unfortunately, he still isn't able to close it out. Ships finds the final frag. That's a costly round for both sides, although a nice try by Veggie. It's Windigo that wins.
DT side able to complete the retake, put that fourth on the board, and make sure that, again, they keep the scoreline tied. A beautiful pistol play out of Poison there, and the rest of the support from the side. Like you say, Veggie is so capable of winning those sort of 1v2 kind of scenarios, and especially if the player from main hadn't have peaked as quickly as he did, he probably would have been able to adjust to the final player and maybe take that kill. But unfortunately, for Virtus.pro, not going to happen. Still, T-side able to be back onto a buy. They still have a little bit of money in reserve for Mihu, Veggie, and Okalicious. So, going to be as fruitful as it would like. Windigo this time, however, with the AWP in the hands of Poison, with a couple of AUGs to work with. Victor boosted already up onto the rafters. I do like this position, especially when holding that A site. Snack's going to be boosted above toward, but Blocker.
Oh, what?
Already going to spot the first man out. They should now realize there was a second there as well, especially with Snacks being that high up here, which is definitely not normal. But Veggie on the other side, Blocker again, able to find one more. There's Victor with the support, and Bubble able to chime in with one of his own, and Snatchy, well, he's just left in a 1 versus 4. A great round and a good sight hold out of Windigo for that A site, and even with 55 seconds left, there should be nothing Virtus.pro are able to do. So a 5-4, and again, CT side just able to take the lead once more. Victor to close out Snatchy.
Oh, wow.
That will see every single man of VP falling. 5-4. CT side back in the lead again.
It's important to note that after Snacks had lost his life when the entry was given to Windigo, VP should have pulled away, should have gone back into their default and just tried to reset their mindset in that position, or at least their overall set, because we could see that they had no answer to the loss of Snacks. Immediately what they did was just shut down, completely stop, not move anywhere, and, you know, somewhat wait for the call of the IGL. And unfortunately for VP, it doesn't really pay off. Windigo, they're going to be very content with that. And, you know, we have to say Blocker was at 0-7, James Bond and all. So 2 kills, it's certainly going to be helping his mentality a little bit as well. And Windigo's coach, we can see fist bumping everybody. He's got his notebook out. He's looking at the tactics, looking at what he can do. Oh man, Victor, he looks like a proper mob boss there. Shouldn't be messed around with. But yeah, it's going to be a force buy by VP, interestingly enough. Miku, Okalicious, and Veggie. They've got themselves the 3 rifles. The CZs to support it. VP, a plentiful enough of a utility buy to be able to execute outside, but it's Ships that is controlling from Secret. Misses his second shot, goes for the triple peek. Or excuse me, the third peek. the repeat, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really find too much success. Bubble. Oh, okay. Back to a 3-on-3 we go, and 2 players below 10 HP almost.
Veggie somehow surviving the spray. 17 health combined on 2 players. Snacks on that AWP, and even where the man advantage is level right now in the 3 versus 3, you've got to say that Windigo have the advantage just because of the damage that has already been inflicted, and I think they might even make their way out towards Silo as well if they can get on top of this. Just while Virtus.pro are lingering toward this garage position, it could really work out for them, although I think they are safe for now. We do have the rotation of Poison toward ramp as well, so he's going to be holding, and he's read this perfectly. He knows that the T's have surely gotten control of outside. As he spots the barrel, a double scope, there's the shot onto Veggie. Into a 3 versus 2, and that should deviate them back toward the A site, but as Blocker is able to hold, it's all in the hands of Snatchy. Not going to work for them this time, in a 6-4 that should now see Virtus.pro down into an eco, allowing Windigo to start to build a nice little barrier coming into the final few rounds of the first half.
Yeah, that's going to complicate matters. Windigo, I mean, they are starting to wake up the beast. VP seems like their early progression, their early good start, I guess, in a way. The few rounds they did get were perhaps just the few rounds they will get in this first half. It's certainly, you know, shaping up to be a pretty good half out of Windigo, regardless of how it all started off. Poison, again, aggressively towards outside. Spots the player crossing through red. Now close range. It is going to be Snacks. That's a punishment when you miss your shot and no support to be had. Ships will be getting a refract. Finds himself a second, the third as well. That's a lucky break. Ships, if he doesn't get all 3 kills there, there's a high chance this could snowball into VP's way, especially if they can retrieve the AWP, perhaps another rifle to be picked up, and then things really look to take a wild turn. But luckily, that's not the case. Oh my god, Bubble! He can't take down Miku. It's going to be back to a 1-on-2 blocker. A tough spot to be in. Luckily, the bomb is yet to be retrieved, but holy hell, Windigo. I say that they are dominating the market right now, and VP certainly looking pretty shaky, but it's so delicious to close it out. This is... VP, 5 rounds, they put themselves on the board, heavily so, and that's as good as it gets for them. If they win on an eco round, how can they not win on a gun round? That's the scary part to consider, I guess, for both sides in a way. Windigo obviously fearing everyone in this kind of manner, and they'll have to be careful the next time they play up against Pistols, because they cannot allow that to transpire.
So risky from Windigo dropping rounds like that. Especially considering that now the CT side will have to invest their economy into getting another buy round. I'm not too sure how fruitful it'll be, though. I'm fairly certain they shouldn't have too much built up just because of how awkwardly the rounds have gone back and forward. Even so, a great success out of Virtus.pro, like you say, to win a round like that. It's showing maybe weaknesses out of Windigo to the point where they can definitely exploit some of those setups by the CT side, although they have been able to afford the double AWP. You do see Bubble down onto a Mag 7, though, which you can really tell the economy wasn't stretching as far for him. Snatchy to have his own AWP this time, and again, Victor going to be boosted up onto rafters again. A very valid spot to work within.
Yeah.
Time Snacks, misguided Molotov, although Ships, he'll be able to find a first kill of his own. That's going to shut down Mihu early. Especially now that Virtus.pro have little map control to work with, we might even see Bubble aggressing through toward tunnels, getting inside of the back of this T side and really trying to cause a nuisance with that shotgun. And with so much time to do it, as soon as they realize that there is little being shown by Virtus.pro in the form of map control, currently all backed up toward radio and even closer toward T-spawn, so Windigo can definitely be looking to exploit this right now. They will start to make a move toward the A site, though. Oculicious be joining Snacks as they venture out towards Squeaky Door, and as surely they realize that Victor is now up on these rafters. Yeah, they're checking it at least, and with Blocker on the site for support, there's the first kill we were waiting for. Virtus.pro finally able to adapt to the setup of Windigo. Well, there it is, Veggie, perfect. They know where these 2 men are on the sites now and easily able to close them down. At least Bubble to refrag with a Mag 7, though, and back into a 3v3. If he can find one more, as Poison is able to do so. Snatchy luckily to close down Bubble and keeping the man advantage level, but with at least 25 seconds to retake, there is still time to do this.
There is. It's a 2v2, but double up is always a problem. But oh, Snatchy missing his shot. It's poison to punish him. And it's all eyes on Mr. Kalicious. And unfortunately for him, Ships will be just a little bit, tiny bit faster. He's got the kit as well, more than enough time to defuse. And Windigo, with a double up buy-up, they'll be able to salvage the round, salvage themselves the first half at least. That would have been devastating for them. Losing it would most likely result in them going on to a full eco and being forced to play with pretty much a very minuscule buy next. And not just that, it would leave them vulnerable for the rest of this half remaining. So that's a pretty much saving grace. And I will say that I'm very much, very lucky. I like the fact, I like the fact that they bought double up, that they got themselves, that they got the up on Ships and poison both, and it works out, luckily enough. In either case, it's going to be, of course, another full buy. Virtus.pro already making their way through main. Meek, who's going to be caught early on. Victor is going to be punishing that mistake, or at least that early push. There's nobody to support that, though. Miku, not sure what exactly he wanted to achieve besides perhaps a kill or two, but I mean, he was alone, no support to be had. Snatchy and a Callista's return, still Victor and Ships to fly off in the distance. Snatchy, though, that's the thing, his reactions are so good. A 2v2, a Calicious at 16. Perhaps it would be smart to change out the weaponries, give him the AWP, let Snatchy have an AK. And this is a B plant, not an A plant. Windigo's like confused right now.
Yeah,
hey,
they don't
boys,
realize.
This is B. This is a bit of a problem. Hopefully they pick up the rifle. Yeah, Poison picks up the AUG, thankfully. It would be foolish to try it with the AWP. Snatchy, though, misses his first shot. Reveals his position on short. It's going to be pushed by both players. This is a retake that can work out, but Snatchy so fast, so faster. It's going to find him. He's going to find himself 2 kills, and that's enough. And it's going to be VP with 6 rounds on the board. 6 rounds on the board. And that is perfect for VP. They've already got themselves the amount of rounds they would want on T side. Anything more than that is now a bonus.
This is going to be so great out of Virtus.pro as they're able to keep so many rounds on that T side. Like you say, 6 on a board for T side. Nuke is as strong as you would want to be at this point, and that's going to really start to add a little bit of pressure onto Windigo. You can see they're now going for that full eco for the final round of the first half, so most likely we're going to see ourselves an 8-7 to end that first half with, already with 1 minute 35 the clock. Windigo going to be setting themselves up for some early A aggression. Ships has that Zeus ready for anyone approaching out of Squeaky, although they will make their way straight down toward that vent position. Not going to be messing around here for VP, already securing control of the upper tunnels. That B bomb site going to be already locked down, so as that plant will come through. Very simple round for Virtus.pro to say the least, and now that they tie things up 7-7, if they can take this 8-7 as well, this would put them in a perfect position here in map number 1 and really start to force Windigo on their T side to almost play perfectly. They can't afford to be making any mistakes, even at this sort of scoreline. If it was to end at an 8-7 in the favor of Windigo, it's still probably too many rounds at this point on a T side of Nuke.
I will say it is too many, not just probably. It definitely is. In my mind, T-side should only be able to gather between 4 to 5 rounds maximum. The 6th is already kind of a bonus, a cherry on top, if you will. Everything else is a mistake on the side of the CTs. That's it. VP, they should not have been able to pick themselves the tie, and above all else, they should not even be in contention for this first half to take it 8-7. T-side of Nuke is... It's a troublesome position to be in, or at least troublesome side to play with, because you're having to deal with economy, you're having to deal with a very advanced position that the CTs can usually abuse in their own favor, and that means they can switch it out consistently. They can try and surprise you. We've seen secret pushes, we've seen outside pushes, we can have lobby pushes, and everything like that can happen when you're on the side of the T's, because it's hard to predict that kind of play. Miku, though, catches Ships in the smoke. Not sure what's happening there. A bit of a shaky moment there. And Windigo, they're kind of losing faith in themselves, perhaps. Not exactly sure how they intend to play this one off. B side has been lost. It's going to be Bubble close range in control room, but he... Only tags onto Kalicious, doesn't get the frag. Victor finds one, but it's Snatchy to immediately refrag, and it's all eyes on Poison. With a scout in hand, he has no chance, and VP, they take their map pick, their T side on Nuke, up to 8 rounds. That is as good as it gets. And even if they lose the pistol and the gun round, they'll still be on the CT side, and they'll still be in a great position to be able to take the map itself.
Yeah, and what a beautiful play to be able to at least end off that 8-7. Especially going into CT side now, they're going to be putting themselves in such a good position to be able to close maybe even the first map. If pistol round goes in their favor, that would really be setting themselves nicely for a great beginning on that T side. And on the CT side. And Virtus.pro, we know they like to play Nuke. We know they're strong on a CT side as well. We've seen them claim 10, 11 rounds before. That's plenty to be able to find them victory. Currently needing further 8 rounds to find success, and that we will just start to see second half going live. Windigo wanting to try and get that pistol to kickstart their T side as well. This is going to be one of the more important rounds for them to be able to find. That would keep them in the early runnings of the second half at least. And you can see a little bit of a tactical break to be had by both of the sides just to get ready for the second half.
Yeah,
good so far in the arena. We start to see it filling up a little bit. Nice to see the crowd in attendance. It's always good.
Cheering in.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting ready for the party.
Fortunately, no Portuguese team anymore. But
well, I mean, they probably
got Furia, right? Yeah,
exactly. They like probably regard them as the Portuguese team that they never had, or at least that they should have had in the final stages of the tournament. I have to admit, Offset, they lost 2-1, sure, but they fought valiantly, and they gave a great performance yesterday against Gamer Legion. And not many teams on this kind of level that is equal to either Offset or Gamer Legion can succeed in the same manner that Offset did. So definitely kudos to them, and hopefully that will not be drawing them down too much. They are still much to be learned, much to be taught, and much to be gathered or gained. And I hope to see them in the future. But we are back to the future, to the present. It's going to be 8-7 VP on their CT side. The pistol is live. And it is going to be, of course, no kit on the side of VP. That's a bit of a surprise. Veggie, he's got a flashbang. He probably dropped a P250, I presume. But okay, there it goes. Veggie falls. Victor finds the second. And Windigo open up with a bang. Although Miku, a reply will be just a single kill. Snacks from main, trying to tap away. Doesn't really hit anybody. Snatchy catching himself one. Snacks is ready. A bit of a drop of FPS, I think. My stream is lacking. Yeah. But it's still going to be a 3-on-1 in the end. And make it a 3-on-none.
I'll give the stream a little refresh after this round. Yeah, like you say, with the great pistol round out of Windigo, that puts them straight into a nice little 8-8. Going to be tying the scoreline straight away, although Virtus.pro, here's the infamous force buy that we see. On the big screen, you can see the pistols to be made, the Kevlar to be invested, so we're going to be seeing at least a force buy out of Virtus.pro. We know they like to do this on their CT side, and we know they like to bring success with deagles, with a little bit of utility. Even the scout on Snatchy can be a great asset. FPS is definitely not on our end as well, so we'll get that reported back. It looks a little choppy, but
it looks like there's like 5 FPS. Right?
Yeah.
Slideshow from Microsoft. Oh, I think we got it fixed. No, not yet, but it's getting better. Each passing second, an FPS increase comes in by 1 FPS. But Blocker, he's going to find himself one. Miku kind of holding from Decon, actually. From Locker Room, if you will. Gets himself one. Unfortunately, that's the only thing he's going to get.
Windigo now taking the higher ground inside of Heaven. 5 seconds about to approach. Gives them plenty of time to work with here on that T side, although Veggie going to be venturing with his teammate down in toward the tunnels as well as they wrap themselves essentially toward ramp to be able to, toward lobby. Getting right behind as well. This could actually really start to cook up a storm with Windigo wanting to make their way inside of Heaven, but Poison as he is there fairly safe. 30 on the clock, and we'll now see that T side taken over toward the A site. They do have the height advantage to work with, and as already Ships able to find himself a first. Beggy and Oculicious, the final 2 players remaining. Oculicious to grab himself a Mach 10, but not that it makes any sort of difference. Bomb to be planted in that round to be won by Windigo 9-8. Now that Virtus.pro have gone for the force buy, but not been able to translate any success. Will be an eco for that CT side, so double figures definitely an attainable margin by Windigo going into the next round.
Absolutely. One thing that concerns me is VP is prone to force buys. We've seen this multitude of times, yes. And of course, pretty much every time VP are playing, they like to force buy both sides. Maybe a little bit less on T than CT, but which in essence doesn't really make much sense. You would rather buy or force buy on the T side because you're going to have an easier time still purchasing on the gun round rather than, you know, investing everything here as the CTs and then not really being able to buy anything up besides a basic rifle, a little bit of Kevlar, a little bit of utility, and that's about it. Overall, VP, they're going to have to change it up. Their gun round will be a decisive one. It's going to allow Windigo either to go up to potentially 12 rounds, or is it is going to be VP getting themselves back on the board, being able to tie the score, being able to throw the rag around and see how well they can fare against Windigo's T side. In any case, we're about to jump back into the game, hopefully. The cameras from the players. I love the new angles, or at least the angles as a whole. Snacks close range outside. Oh la la, we've seen this before. And once before it worked out for VP. Fortunately, Ships is wise to it, and Windigo will not allow their own strategy to work against them.
Oculicious playing close to a blue box blocker. Able to find the first kill. We open up into a 5 versus 3. This gives now Windigo that advantage that they would, of course, be taking in the early phase of this round. And Poison as he closes down Snatchy. Mihu, last man alive, not able to survive. A little bit of damage done, leaving 2 players on red HP, but 10-8 on the board, and that will see Virtus.pro now, like you say, being able to invest into that full gun round. Snatchy moving on to the AWP, the 4 orgs to surround, and we'll have maybe a little bit of utility. Would like to potentially see a defuse kit in there as well, but I doubt the economy would stretch that far. So even with the buy round that they have, Windigo, they'll be looking to try and keep up the pace yet again. If they can win this one, that really puts them at a very strong position on that T side and would start to make Virtus.pro a little bit precarious. And so with the fact that Windigo be looking for their initial piece of information, heading down in towards Secret. Chips on the outside. Just trying to make sure that Virtus.pro going to be getting too aggressive on the CT side. Snatchy holding in the back of... Oh, Mihu. He's going to be venturing in Victor. He'll be finding the initial kill. Snatchy missing his first shot. Blocker able to close him down. And even with damage to be done, finally Snacks will be able to put a reply on the board, but not that it matters. Poison and Victor, they'll both find kills. Snacks, the last man alive. And even though he trades again, it's down into a 3v1. And this should be Virtus.pro taking a nice... Oh, sorry, Windigo taking a nice little victory here. Blocker to close out the round. 11-8. And with VP losing their first gun round, this now really starts to get difficult.
As I said, this is 12 to Windigo, almost confirmed at this point. And I'm a little bit shell-shocked. We could see that the buy for VP obviously was minuscule. They didn't have a kit. They didn't really have much utility. They had an op at least, but I'm not sure how exactly they were set up that they allowed this to transpire in a manner they had no refrags, nothing. There was nothing going in their favor. And again, we see pistols and Kevlar being bought up by VP. They've got themselves a few CZs, a few Deagles and whatnots. Overall, it's a pretty classic standard buy. Or excuse me, a round from Windigo. And if they clear outside smoke, which they should, they will be able to snuff out Snatchy. Close range, Victor. Taking down Snacks. Poison and Victor again respawn. Mihu, he was fast enough to at least catch on to Blocker. But again, it's not going to change the outcome, which is the 12-8 results scoreline that VP is going to have to deal with. Nice kill by Oculicious. He drops the bomb, actually. Bubble. He's alone. Nobody to support him. That's a bit dangerous to pull off. Certainly could have been a little bit more careful. No reason to jump into main. And it's back to a 3-on-2. Veggie and Okalicious, they've got themselves the AK and the CZ. They've got the Kevlars as well. They can work it out here. They can get a victory, perhaps. But it's going to be a difficult one to achieve, at least.
With Poison down at least tagged health, they're down to 29. He'll be more of a simple trade for the CT side to find. But Veggie and Okalicious, like you say, the two players that you would want this sort of position, and we'll see likely heading round toward the A site. Veggie going to be wrapping his way outside of main as well, but still with 25 seconds on the clock. Victor now heading toward the A site. Veggie to back away as well. The time is getting relatively low, but as Victor closes down Okalicious, well, that's one of the... Oh, Veggie nearly fell to Victor there. But still, bomb to be planted, and as he heads inside of the rafters, drops down, masks his footsteps, but not unfortunate for him, not able to find it. 12-8. Windigo, a little bit of a shaky round itself, but still able to pull it off. 12-8 on the board, and that will now see Virtus.pro back onto their full buy. It's one of the rounds that they now basically have to win, or else Windigo are going to push themselves so close to success.
I think we should be honest and just say if VP lose this round, there's a very high chance they might be on map point before the next buy. Or at least once they get to that buy, it's already going to be close to map point. In either case, it's the op on Snatchy, full utility. No kit again. Snacks says $1,300 kit. Where's the kit, Snacks? Listen to your papa. Listen to Papa Biceps. Buy the kit. Don't be a loser. Buy the fuser. It is going to be an A play coming out of Windigo. Veggie blinded out. It's going to be Okalicious with the first, but Victor double return as Veggie tries to protect the corner. It doesn't really work out. And it's going to be Poison that shuts down the play. Snatchy and Snacks left. It's going to be a 3-on-2, and this is an after plant coming out that they'll have to work with. Although Snatchy coming in behind. This is actually a bit of a surprise. Could catch Poison unprepared, and indeed it does. Bubble. He was able to find Snacks beforehand, unfortunately. And it's back to a 2-on-1. Make it a 1-on-1. Snatchy. The reaction is ludicrously fast, but in the end, it's still not enough.
Again, Windigo able to keep up the pace. That 13-8 now on the board for them. And with the fact that Virtus.pro will be heading into, again, precarious situation. Windigo getting fairly close now to the victory point. Again, that A site hold is really good out of VP, but it's again because Windigo play similar positions and because they know the angles to check, they're of course going to expect that player in rafters, and as soon as he trades, they're going to be then putting the frag back on the board. And still with Windigo now already able to find themselves 2 hit ships with a third, and even though Okalicious closes him down, well, that's the round in itself. We'll be seeing 14-8 on the board. And it is last chance saloon for Virtus.pro going into their next gun round. They lose this next gun round. That's 15 and most likely map number 1 itself. And considering that this was the map that Virtus.pro confidently picked going into this veto, that was a lot of danger for overpasses. That's one of Windigo's better maps in their map pool. And that's going to be really putting a lot of strain on Virtus.pro. Not even just for the fact that this first game hasn't gone their way, but because now the map pool really starts to degrade and overpass. We know how good it's been for Windigo. We've seen them online playing it in some of the $30,000 leagues that we've been commentating. We saw them play it pretty well at WESG as well. I'm pretty sure they even got a victory against MIBR potentially on overpass, although it's been like 3 months since the event. Little clouded, but even so, 14-8, and here we go. This is last chance for VP.
It is the last chance for VP, and well, they're going to have to give it their all. Presumably an AWP on Snatchy backup. Hopefully a kit at least being bought up. Please, the round, give us to it. And yes, we are seeing the round at least, if nothing else. Snatchy missing 2 shots though. And they've got 3 kits. Hell yeah. 14-8. Windigo. They're playing it slow. We can see they realize what they're up against. We can see that they realize perhaps there is no reason to try and fight early on. You know, we've already gotten a few rounds in a row very easily, very quickly. There's no reason to try and, I guess you could say, try and battle it forcefully and trying to get onto site by some magic unicorn help, if you can call it that. I mean, it's going to be almost an inaccessible site right now. Me, who finds ships. Back to 5-on-4. Virtus.pro. If nothing else, they have themselves an advantage they can work with. Snacks on Heaven, Okalicious on site. Another player waiting patiently. Snatchy, nice catch off though. As Victor will fall, is going to put Blocker on the page, but it's Blocker with a double. He blocks the defense. VP, they're in trouble. They lost B site. Now Poison finds one more as Veggie falls. Although a Kalicious does return, at least that's a saving grace, but a 2v2 they have to win now. Luckily the kits are there, and so a Molotov and a flashbang as well on Cat. It's Bubble to be caught. Now Blocker back to a 1-on-2, and he's going to lose the duel. Snacksy. Or just Snacks, if you will. He's going to get both kills and finish the round afterwards.
And able to keep side in the game, putting a nice little retake on the boards. Able to save the AWP as well going into the next round for Snatchy. So a nice little gather to close out their 9th at least. Windigo, after their run of rounds, will be able to put a rebuy on the board. The economy will still be working in their favor just for now. But with the fact that VP have been able to at least get themselves a 9th, they have to keep up with the consecutive rounds. They can't be affording to lose this one, or else that would put them back down to square one. That would be an even worse scenario for the CT side. That'd be 15-9 with no bank whatsoever. And this time, with Windigo going to be heading out toward the outside position. Veggie going to be dropping down into vents. Did do, at least do a little bit of damage, but nothing that will be seriously too worrying for Windigo. And with a minute 30 already outside control established. Snacks, however, able to close out Poison. There's Mihu for the refrag, but still Ships. He's able to find one. Bubble with a second, but it's Mihu to respond yet again. Snacks is there for the support, and it seems like finally Virtus.pro, they found some conclusiveness in these rounds, putting 2 in a row now in Windigo. Whilst they will still be able to purchase, it just adds that little bit of confidence back into the favor of VP.
Indeed it does, and one thing to mention is Windigo, they had a mind to go down secret once more. They deployed the smokes. They already had about 2 or 3 players pushing forward. But as soon as the spray through the smoke came through, they didn't want to risk it anymore. Decided perhaps it would be better to leave Victor going down secret while the rest divert back towards A. But I dare say the push towards A was too soon, or too fast at least. They could have waited a few more seconds. They could have bought themselves a few more moments, or at least a few moments here and there to work out the defense, to see where exactly VP are set up to be. And unfortunately for Windigo, whilst they got into main, they lost a player in transition, and Victor, of course, a 1-on-3, not impossible to win. No matter who you're up against, or who is up against the 3 players of VP, he shouldn't be winning, as the VP are very much aware that this is, you know, do or die round for them. But we are, I believe, going on to a bit of an eco round for Windigo. I think their money finally coming to a close. They didn't plant for 2 rounds straight. Although, no, I'm my bad. They bought up. They had
like 5K for some reason. Like, they had a lot of money saved up.
I thought they had less than that, but they've got enough. It's going to be an AWP on Poison. They've got plenty enough, and it's going to be an A play, pushing through the smoke through Squeaky. It's Veggie with the first spray down. Bubble though refrags, and it's back to a 4-on-4. It's a B play down secret though. Oh, excuse me, down vents, and this could work out perfectly for Windigo. Ships is left in Squeaky. With the rest of Windigo already making their way down B. The plan is real. Mihu only now responds, but Ships will be caught by Snatchy. Back to a 4-on-3 as Victor is trying to sneak in through. Oh, he's going to catch the transition from main. Tries to transfer the spray. Doesn't work out. A 2v3 that Poison and Bubble surely can still win, though.
And with Bubble set up toward that Titanic corner, Poison, the AWP in hand, does have a nice angle to work with. As he comes in from Decon, that's where he can scope out and maybe take the fight, but it's Snatchy as he finds a first. Bubble able to respond with a kill of his own. Has to be aware of the time now ticking.
Oh, wait.
Have they got enough time? I think they might.
Lord.
It's going to be really close.
Oh, no, my God. Oh, no.
Heartbreak for Virtus.pro.
The delay was just long enough by Windigo that they bought themselves enough time for the bomb to explode, and it is going to be VP that lose it. And that is a horrible, horrible ending for VP. As you said, sure, they find themselves 1 round, but they lose on top of it, and they don't really have much money to work with afterwards. That is a problem, and it's going to grow into a pretty big-ass problem. Luckily, they've got the op still on Snatchy. It's Glass Cannon, an M4 on Mihu, MP9 on a Kalicious, an auto shotgun on Veggie, the XM25, I think, and the FAMAS on Snacks. But this buy is minuscule compared to what they had previously. Snacks outside red, though, spots Bubble's head, gets him down, and at least the man advantage kept by VP.
Make it two, though, was Okalicious. Able to take out ships. Poison luckily does return with a frag of his own, but there's Mihu able to respond, and it's Snacks that closes down. It seems like finally Virtus.pro again able to stabilize after the mess of the last round. And as Snatchy's able to close down again, Windigo giving up another simple round. I think they're rushing things at the moment. They're really trying to play a little too quickly. We've seen it in the past couple of rounds. They've taken vents very quickly. They've gone for that outside secret control almost too fast, and it's really allowing Virtus.pro to not only get themselves set up and ready for it, but because Windigo are wanting to rush the scenario, they're not being as thorough and checking the more particular corners, the angles that they should be checking, and that's going to give Snacks and his team, again, another very nice entrance to an 11th round, although with Windigo now down to more of an eco themselves, this should be giving Virtus.pro at least a 12th on the board before Windigo can go for that rebuy themselves. Obviously, a single mistake out of VP will most likely result in success and the map itself for Windigo, but we saw them pull it back from 15-10 yesterday against Big. That was the exact same scenario, this time on their T side instead, but still, from 15-10, we're able to make it 19-15 and lock out an entirely dominant end to that second map. So, the force buy to come from Windigo themselves. It's Veggie that's able to find a first damage done, and there's a second. A 5 versus 3 already. The B bomb site control has been given up, though, and a plant to come through, so at least going to be funneling a little bit of cash into that T side, but it shouldn't be making too much of a difference. There's Okalicious, and that'll be the round itself. 15-12, but scarily, probably 15-13 to come as well, just because Windigo forced up this round.
I mean, that's something we should be expecting. Windigo, of course, trying their luck, trying their best luck, I guess you could say, in the end. Doesn't really work out. The plant is nice and all. Perhaps could have been a little bit better if they had gotten at least a kill or two. Or at least, 2-3 kills, let's say, to diminish the economy of VP, to try and set them up for the fall coming forward. But it's Windigo's eco that should be an easy pickings here for VP, and enough of a morale rise for them to be able to close out this, perhaps with 15-15 going into overtime. As you said yesterday, they pulled that feat off, and it was pretty amazing. I mean, it was a damn well-performed series by VP. I never expected them to be able to win on dust against Big, and they did. 19-15 with 4 straight rounds in overtime. I believe it was 4 straight rounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was Offset that got 1 and then lost 4 in a row, I think.
Yeah,
or was it the other way? Yeah. But yeah, overall, another tactical pause looks like. Not sure presumably by Windigo, maybe? Not sure. But I guess the game will continue, so it's a short one, no problem. Minute or half a minute, no matter. An eco round as expected. Windigo, that force buy was a bit weird. They at least got the plant, which is kind of like okay-ish. Doesn't really help you too much when you force bot, though. And VP, they know what they're up against. They know this is going to be pistols and Kevlar they'll be facing. Even then, no Kevlar. And Snatchy and Snacks, they clean off outside. Another plant, perhaps by Bubble. Nah, not going to happen. This time, Miku's there to prevent it.
Again, another solid round out of VP. We saw a couple of them yesterday where they did lose a few players to pistols and to ecos, so able to correct that going into the rounds where it definitely does matter most. And at this point, with the 15-13, it comes down to one of Windigo's final purchases of the regulation time. If they lose this one, they probably be giving that beautiful opportunity for Virtus.pro to go into overtime. So with the fact that the CT side wanting that so greatly, wanting to complete a similar comeback as to what they did yesterday, ends big. A buy to come from them. The side to be able to bring out, hopefully, an AWP in the hands of Poison, but if not, surely 5 rifles. Decent utility to come as well, but it's going to put a lot of strain on Windigo just because they got that 15th round, maybe a little bit luckily as well, because obviously it was the defuse that came or didn't come from Virtus.pro that gave them that 15th round, and ever since then, it's been VP that drive the momentum 5 rifles in the hands of Windigo. The money not going to stretch as far as an AWP. This will see some outside control to be taken. Yet again by Windigo. Spam to come by Snacks though, and Victor,
nice,
he'll be down to 5 HP. That's some beautiful damage to be already inflicted. Makes them significantly weaker heading down toward this B bomb site. And with Mihu in defense yet again, going to have to be on their best best play heading into this bomb site, because there is only Mihu in defense, but they have Snatchy toward ramp as well. This is where it could get very, very difficult if they have this beautiful crossfire set up, and with minute 10 info already spotted, there's Mihu to land the 2 kills, and as he even takes the 3rd, it seems like Virtus.pro, they might just be drawing us out to overtime yet again, much like they did yesterday.
Indeed, they should. Victor with 5 and ships. He's on the other side of the map, if you can call it so. Should be an easy round here for VP. And overtime definitely looking like very much a reality. All of a sudden, ships, he realizes what kind of a position he's in and what he has to succeed in. And I'm not sure if they saw him, but they certainly are reacting as if they did. I couldn't tell on the clean feed, but yeah, Kalish's gonna clear it off. 15-14. We are in the last round of regulation time. It is going to be the 30th. And it's all coming down to this. All eyes on VP. Can they close out with another overtime? Or will it be actually Windigo in the end of all being able to find their victory and a 16-14 result for the first map, which would be an excellent result for Windigo, given the fact this is the map pick of VP. This is Nuke we're talking about. And overall, we all know that, you know, Nuke, it's never been the strongest point for Windigo. Slow down.
The map for them that they see a lot of difficulty on. They can either they win very closely, or they lose in like an overtime scenario, or they get absolutely slammed on the map. And Snatchy, he's already going to be able to open us up. Makes it 2. This is beautiful. There's the 3rd. And it seems like Virtus.pro, when the mental game drops from Windigo, they'll be capitalizing entirely. Poison down to 51 and Victor on a Galil. It seems like Virtus.pro, from again another 15-10 scenario, have been able to succeed in getting us into overtime.
LAN is real, my friend. LAN power is real. VP are feeling it right now, and they're having the time of day. The bomb yet to even be retrieved on ramp. Poison and Victor, as you say, they shouldn't be getting very far. This is 15-15 almost confirmed coming out, as VP have themselves a perfect setup and a perfect defense. And there it is, Veggie. The double to end it off.
Wow.
That's as good as it gets, I guess you could say. That is best case scenario for VP. They're not yet done. They're not yet finished, but at least they're having a chance to win this first map. Their map pick after all, and thinking or considering the fact that we do have Overpass as our second one, this is quite a bit of a lucky break for them that they're able to at least close it out with success. In any case, yeah, just triple by Snatchy, single-handedly destroying any chance Windigo had. That was crucial there. If Snatchy doesn't get the first kill, there's a high chance he misses the second, or he doesn't even get to the second kill or the second shot. Afterwards, it could have been, again, I'm not sure if this is a meme or not. They're reading some books, Osmayas. Maybe you can help me out there.
I am not too sure.
But yeah, the point is, overtime gives a chance to VP. First of all, they're on the CT side, so they can take it 3 in a row, perhaps. And second of all, they had a very successful T side. So no matter how this one ends, they've had a great performance on Nuke, and they're certainly giving it to Windigo fully right now.
Oh, 100%, especially considering that EP, it just shows how mentally strong they are to be able to come back again from another 15-10 where they realistically should have been down and out, to then be able to close out at least a set of overtime. And as we do head into that overtime, if you aren't familiar with the format, it is MR3 $10,000. A lot of events started using 16k now, even 12.5 to give that little extra economic boost, but we have 10k. It's ruthless. The point where if you do lose 2 rounds in a row, exactly, yeah, that's how overtime should be battled. If you lose 2 rounds in a row, you're going to really have a big effect or a big downfall of the third, although Poison, he'll be able to start things off well. An initial kill onto Snatchy, making it into a 5 versus 4 straight away. They look like this time they want to focus more on the A-site control. A lot of The Windigo regulation setups were put down toward that B bomb site. Poison to catch out Veggie this time. And Windigo have realized the importance of that AWP, something they didn't have in those final few rounds of that second half, and still as they're able to make instant impact with it, a 5v3, and with so much time left, Windigo, they should be able to control this situation.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Windigo, if they lose this, I don't know how they can even win this map anymore. This certainly should be a round that they are able to take in their favor. VP, Snax, Kalicious, and Mihu, they're all set up on A as far as I can tell, and it's a gamble that they're set up on A, but it's a good gamble because if nothing else, they can help each other immediately, and even if they lose B side, they can at least attempt some sort of a retake. Oh, Kalicious though finds one. There's the crossfire. Mihu finds two. Oh no! Windigo, they've done it again. It's gonna be VP. Mihu burns, or at least dies in the end, but it's a Kalicious on Hut already. I'm not sure he's gonna be spotted. No, he's not, and it's gonna be all eyes on Poison. Back to a 1-on-2, and no, Kalicious pulls out the pistol even. Poison, oh! 16-15, VP. A 3v5, and they actually win. They actually pull it off, Kieran. They pull it off. They win the round. Windigo, they go in through a tight corner. They don't realize perhaps it would be smarter. Perhaps it would be 10 times better to go hit either ramp or outside, but not go through Hut, for Christ's sake. And that's going to be the round gone, and the gamble pays off.
Again, it's Virtus.pro that are able to start another batch of overtime successfully. They've gone into that 16-15, and again, Windigo have been able to buy up into that AWP. Poison wanting to utilize it toward ramp early, but again, even with Windigo having the advantage, it all comes down to Mihu and him finding that double to open the round, to sway the momentum. It's Veggie that already takes out Ships. It's a 5 versus 4 that sees that T side already a man down, and this is really starting to work out for Virtus.pro. They're gaining that mentality. They're really starting to come to their own. Luckily, Poison able to trade back into Snatchy, down into a 4 versus 4. With plenty of time, they can start to anchor their way toward the B-bomb site. Poison closing out the ramp position, ensuring that it's at least safe for now. What a way to begin on overtime for VP. If they can hold out onto this round, they surely finish it off with an 18-15.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. If Windigo can't get a single round on overtime, it gives VP the 1 in 3 chance of being able to absolutely end the game off, and that's going to be devastating considering the lead that they had. And Snax, you can even see, playing so passively toward this CT spawn that as soon as Poison would make his way up toward ladder, he'll be spotted, and even if he doesn't find the kill, it's information gathered. You can see they're already maybe partially aware of it, though. Does he spot the players? Not just yet. They'll make their way. Oh, Snax. Oh, beautiful tap onto Poison. Yeah, I guess he did see him in the end. Fair enough. 4 versus 3, and time is now ticking.
Well, it seems like Windigo are falling apart left and right and center. Blocker finds a refract finally. Oh, wait, Veggie? No headphones? No ears? No sound? How did he not hear him running out of Hut? That certainly could have been played a little bit differently. The Molotov into heaven as well, gonna deny Mihu's peak. Back to 2v2, and it's going to be, of course, a retake that Mihu and Snax will be attempting. Bubble with the AWP, though. That gives a better chance to VP, and the smoke is going to be missed as well. Although maybe intentionally, but I doubt it. And here we go. It's all beginning right now. Snax on heaven, Mihu already down, and he's patiently waiting across the smokes. Where's the check? Where's the clock? And Blocker, well, he's going to be checked not really fast enough. Snax gets the refrag. Bubble has the Molotov, though. The smoke! That's the friendly smoke!
Oh my god!
No, the friendly smoke! You gotta be joking me, though, VP. There is barely enough time, and they get it, VP!
Oh,
they pull it off because of the smoke!
Oh.
Because of the failed smoke of Windigo, VP are able to defuse in time. And that is going to be the round. That is going to be VP 17-15. Oh my god. Windigo, that smoke cost them the round right now.
Yeah, what an absolutely...
100%.
Oh my god. As soon as that molly, you heard the noise where it just went, and it's like, no, that's when you know that Windigo's heart sank. Snax, as he's able to finish it off, plenty, well, not plenty, just enough time. And now you can see that Windigo in this final round of the first half of overtime, they have very little to work with. A little in the hands of a couple of players, and already it's Snax that's able to open up onto Poison. He's looking for more, and of course he finds it. A 5 versus 3, and it seems like the mentality of Windigo is now down in the dirt as Snatchy closing down Bubble. It's into a 5 versus 2, and Virtus.pro, I think they're about to replicate exactly what they did yesterday against Big. A 15-10 into overtime. They win all 3 rounds of the first half, and what a way to do it. 5 men kept alive, and a nice little slight fist bump out of Snatchy as they know that the game is now in their hands.
Oh my lord. 3-0 CT side of VP, and they find themselves now going to switch it out. 1 round to win, 1 round to close out map 1, and potentially close this series out 2-0 overall if Overpass goes well for them. But that's a whole nother different story that we'll be discussing a little bit later. In either case, it is VP that is battling back to back. They were 5 rounds down to go to overtime. Now they're again 8 rounds ahead. 8 rounds in a row for VP. Can they find the 9th? Can they close it out right here, right now, like they did against Big yesterday? And they pull it off again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, me neither.
I wish I would know the memes from the chat.
Right.
Excuse me, from the arena, because that'd be so nice to see. But yeah, I'm a bit flabbergasted as to what that meant. But perhaps somebody in chat can translate for us. Perhaps we have some Portuguese-speaking viewers in chat.
That's one meme we understand, right?
That's a quality meme right there. That's a quality meme right there. I like it. I like it. Well, a technical pause apparently. So, Karen, I guess it doesn't go without without technical pauses here.
Yeah, one of the only tech pauses that we do have. Oh, well, are we seeing another meme? Oh, baited.
There we go. Baited for the love of snacks. Spago Knut. Yeah. Oh well.
Hopefully we do get live into second half OT. Virtus.pro. I think we've just got to talk about how mentally strong this side is. From what we saw yesterday, from what we saw out of the comeback against Big, even more amicable as that was on the T side as well. They were able to get 5 rounds in a row to bring it from 15-10 to that 15-15 and then win all 4 rounds of overtime. And then you sort of think, okay, that must have been a downfall from Big, but now to again be repeating similar antics to win 5 rounds in a row to take it again from 15-10 to 15-15, and then they win all 3. I think that just shows that when it comes down to it, this side is so mentally in tune with just the mindset of getting into the server, winning the game when it comes down to those gritty plays. That Windigo and sides like them, Big, around them, who again, when they get into overtime, seem to really flop, and it just favors Virtus.pro, like, undoubtedly.
One thing I would add, or at least, kind of ask, is Windigo was the WHG performance and the quality they've been giving us for the last, let's say, for the last half year, a little bit less than half year. Was it worth for nothing? This is LAN environment. This is where they should be feeling comfortable. They played, well, I can guarantee you they played many more LAN events than the current roster of VP. Obviously, if you discount Snacks, who himself has played more events on offline than anybody else on the stage, sure. But the rest of the team, they never had too many LANs they played on, at least not yet. And the experience should be in favor of Windigo. Well, and I'm kind of surprised that VP are able to pull it off like this, like yesterday against Big, now against Windigo. Well, it's all just coming together for VP, and it feels like they might be set up perfectly for their victory in the finals, perhaps. Because I said, if anybody can win, it's either going to be VP, or it could be Game Legion if they win against Furia. Now, obviously, that's speculation, but in my mind, I don't see Windigo winning against Furia if Furia win against Game Legion. But if Game Legion win against Furia, which is obviously unlikely, and VP win against Windigo, then I see VP winning. There's a few mixes here and there, but overall, I certainly could see VP winning the way they've been performing this entire tournament. it's been amazing. It really has. And I'm loving the new VP that we're enjoying. And we have to admit, we have casted them quite a few times within the past few weeks, maybe a month or so, and they have been amazing in their own right.
Yeah, they've not only been showing good performances online with some of the leagues that we've been working, but when they went to the ESL Polish Championship, they played pretty decently on land there. I think the only team they lost to was Aristocracy, being, you know, Taz's little baby that he's currently developing. But they got a second place. They've only been on, really, in the addition of Oculicious and Vegi, they've only really been on 2 lands. Well, 3 including Moche, but they've been on Charleroi Esports, which they placed 7th and 8th on. I don't think they had Oculicious at the time. And they obviously went to the ESL Polish Spring Championship. So like you said, the LAN experience for this roster as a whole is definitely not there, but they're still able to play so confidently on a stage. And that's going to be showing maybe for the future, maybe for the next up-and-coming maps, how good that these guys are going to be. And luckily, it looks like we do hear some noise in the background that indicates the game might just be going back live. And this might harm Windigo more than it does Virtus.pro, because this little bit of a break that we've had is just giving VP the thoughts that they only need that one more round to close out this game, and doing so would be, again, finishing an incredible run of a comeback. And it comes down to this as we see CT side now for Windigo. They have to get 3 rounds in a row to take us into double overtime. And with the way that VP have been playing, I highly doubt that is actually something on the cards. Yeah, it shouldn't be doable, with how easily that Windigo have been able to lose those 3 rounds to begin with.
I guess we could say that, you know, Windigo, they're having a bit of a hard time. Maybe they're not warmed up enough. Maybe they haven't had enough time to set up, which obviously is not, you know, not an excuse in itself. You had probably more than enough time to get everything prepared. But it feels more like perhaps they're kind of losing faith in themselves than anything else. Every time they go for an execution, every time they go for some sort of a play, they kind of just get caught in the wind. They aren't able to progress forward from a certain point. They get the first entry, for example, then they decide, okay, let's go for a quick A play. They kind of run into A, they don't really find the refrags, and then it all just kind of collapses on top of them. What I'm trying to say here is the fact that they seem to have the early start ready. They seem to have the early tactics ready, but they aren't able to play that mid-game properly, or at least close it out the way they should. They seem to tilt a little bit in a way, if that makes sense. As if the loss is affecting them more than it should. But hopefully we're continuing ASAP. The technical difficulties have apparently been resolved as far as I can tell, because everybody's kind of just smiling. Look at Snacks, he's so happy, man. I love the smiles on these guys. You know, they're just so happy. And of course, how couldn't you be? You're 3 rounds up in overtime. You need 1 to close out the first map, your own map pick. And you're just having the time of day. And I think we're ready to go. Yeah, I think we're ready to go. Oh, Critica Social Allegoria. Got him. Oh, come on. The memes are real. The Portuguese crowd is amazing. I have to give it to them.
Yeah, they've been showing up. They've been showing up with some bangers this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Exame Final Nacional Português.
Just casually revising during the LAN. Getting that education in, kid. Don't drop out of school, kids.
Or drop out of school, get to a LAN and study there. Maybe that works out. We'll be resetting, I believe. Yeah, we'll be resetting the sides, or the rounds at least. But we'll be starting as we should. Windigo CT side, VP T side.
Yeah. Currently, scoreline going to be 18 to 15. A single round required by Virtus.pro and
VP. Oh, server crashed. It just came to me. Server crashed because the bot, it cannot be restarted.
Yeah,
see, right?
They've just got to play with
yeah.
10K to begin with. Yeah. So they'll be keeping track of the scoreline anyway. They'll know that VP only need 1 more round to head into the next double overtime. That might cause a little bit of inconvenience, but
could be. Yeah.
With VP in the way that they've been playing, might not even reach that far. Ships this time going to be playing double AWP with Poison, wanting to focus toward Garage himself this time, and Virtus.pro going to be exerting some outside control. You have at least AWP of Snatchy in there as well, and Oculicious He's been able to make it inside of main, at least. That will be playing on the minds of Windigo, is they're giving quite a bit of map control up. We also have the flank coming in from down the back of Heaven as well, which could potentially play a part in this as well. A minute 5 left, and as they head into that A bomb site, Pips, the timing might not work in his favor. Flash is good though, at least. Molotov to be thrown down, and shit, surely. Snacks on the flanks! Oh my god! Well, they've just confirmed the round themselves. Well, Virtus.pro, they'll be finding victory as Snatchy closes down Poison. It's all left to Bubble, and there it is.